Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 4 of the anime series, Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul. This was an episode of everybody getting all out wrecked. From Azazel getting wrecked by Cherios's people, from Nina wrecking shop, wrecking like half the town in her dragon form, to her getting wrecked, in sort of reaction by Cherios's people all over again, and even her own power and ability. It almost seemed like it snapped to at the end, and it gave out on her a little bit, and it was all kinds of wrecked all over the place. Like when she was finally able to try to catch up to Azazel and everything, and he comes just catapulting down to like the alleyway. There is Mugato, and he's ordering her to take care of Mugato and protect him and everything like that. And whoa, at the end, the revelation of whose child Mugato is just blew my ever-loving mind. Jeanne d'Arc. And I was wondering where she was, and we find that Cherios is holding her captive. It's kind of mind-blowing that. I have to wonder if there was something more that happened between the first and second seasons that we didn't see. Having this child, whatever it was, like that, that might have seen to him going ahead and incarcerating her like that and holding her in the dungeons. It's astounding to me. It might have just simply been something born out of his call to arms against the heavens and the gods and everything like that, and inciting an all-out war and rebellion from humanity to the gods, and then the enslaving of demon kind and everything like that. And as we see, there's a whole underground movement that Azazel gets in contact with, and I guess he's trying to, clarion call to arms as many demons as he can to fight for this cause, as he does as the Rag Demon, to save demon lives and everything like that. And it's just an absolutely, the whole scenario is absolutely mind-blowing and awesome. I mean, I love the pacing of this series. I would imagine it would almost be like a movie, watching it each episode back to back in a marathon instead of watching it week to week, because you feel the momentum as soon as the episode opens with Nina chasing down Azazel and trying to make good on Kaiser's awareness of, well, Cherios is going to have a field day with him. He wants to take his ass down and everything. Now, of course, after that is all said and done, Cherios knows who he is, and there's no more hiding. There's no more game playing. That is why Azazel has to go to the underground and try to enlist demons to his cause, because now he's out. He's been outed. And it's quite interesting when the other leg drops in Kaiser's court, so to speak, when Nina was thrown down and in her dragon form trying to go after Cherios. Even in her dragon form, she seemed reluctant. Now, she has said before, and she says it again in this episode, she cannot control herself in her dragon form, a la the Incredible Hulk. She's like the ferocity of nature run amok when she's transformed into a dragon. But there is still some aspect of recognition. She is still cognizant of familiar faces, whether that be Cherios or, as we see, Kaiser. He gets in between them. He pits himself in between them, and then suddenly Nina, as the dragon, will not strike him. Now, it's quite intriguing that Cherios, it seems as though he is analytically minded. He is paying attention to this. He's observing this and taking note of it, so that after everything is said and done, Kaiser goes to him and tries to sort of, allay the king's fears that he is anything less than honorable, to the king's cause. He tells him the whole story about the relationship between he and Azazel and everything, and I am not all that familiar anymore. Like, I don't remember the ins and outs of that, if it was true that Azazel had killed Kaiser's father. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and refamiliarize myself with the first season to fill in that plot point, whether or not that was true. But whatever it is, everything that Kaiser has said to the king has seemingly fallen on deaf ears. He has, for the time being, said, well, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt for the actions, that you provided me, that you tried to save my life and everything like that. And who even knows if Cherios is life was even being threatened during all of that, during the whole, escalating fight between Azazel and then Nina as the dragon form, because he isn't flinching one eye. He's not batting one eye during the entirety of it. He's just standing there like, chunks of buildings are flying at he and his army, and he's just holding tight. He's just standing there stoically, and like, it's almost as though when Nina arrives, when she shows up as the dragon form, it's like he almost expected it, and he's like, well, here we go. This is what I was kind of hoping for. And so it's like there's so much to him, especially if you go back to the previous episode where we had that, turbaned guy who the debate is still rife. Is it the king in disguise? Is it perhaps a twin brother, something like that? I'm not going to decide one way or the other for myself, because I think there's more fun in speculating, and part of me feels like it would be a little melodramatic if it's just him trying to bone up on who Nina is and find out more about her and everything like that, just wearing a disguise. I thought it might be more intriguing if it was like a brother who would take the king's place were he displaced in the king's court, so to speak, by the end. If they overthrow him, we would need someone of royal lineage of some kind, and I figured if he had a brother who was unhappy with that royal lifestyle and unhappy with the usurper that was his brother, whether elder, younger, or they're twins, that kind of thing, it might be more interesting for that person to then come back at a later time when Charios is beaten and take his place and do so more benevolently. But it was utmost apparent, no matter who this guy was, that he had a strength to match, if not surpass, Nina in that arm wrestling, sequence. And if this turned out to be the king, it would answer to why he was able to, at the start of this episode, to really hold his own and not bat an eye, as he has Azazel coming down at him, and as he has this dragon form of Nina tearing ass. Like he didn't need to move a single inch, and thusly he wouldn't have really needed Kaiser to get in between he and the dragon. It just worked to Kaiser's benefit, and it almost had me wondering, like, it's too bad there wasn't enough time for more dialogue to be exchanged between Kaiser and Nina and Rita and everything like that, because it almost conforms to, or would have conformed to, a great sort of outlying, sort of secret plan between them all. Well, you dragging out, and I'm going to go in there and pretend to, like, save the king, and that'll get me in his better graces again. And I think Kaiser is probably mindful enough and intelligent enough to, that's probably why he exploited that opening for his better graces. He wants to still, be on the good side of Charios, and even if Charios isn't really buying it for whatever reason, even if he, with Kaiser's departing, he says, you're really a poor liar and everything like that. So what is it that Charios feels Kaiser's lying about? I don't know entirely. His affiliation with Azazel, the awareness he has of the dragon / Nina and everything like that. How much does he know, is what I think the king means by that. He suspects that maybe Kaiser is more informed than he's letting on. And so, this guy doesn't trust anybody. He is, a raving megalomaniacal asshole. And but I got to give credit where credit's due. As a soldier on the field, as a warrior, he stood fast, and he didn't let anything that came in the way of him, got up in the face of him. He didn't let any of it back him down. So, at least we know that he is a strengthy opponent for whomever is going to step to him at some point by the, end of this. But again, I think the thing that stole the show for me, amidst all of the insane and intense action and all the comical stuff to do with Azazel and Nina after the fact, when she's lost her entire outfit, and she's wearing the same outfit by the end of the episode. So I don't know, did she have multiple versions of it? That kind of thing. I have no idea. But, you know, like that whole exchange where he's like, let me make love to you. Now that I know, because she admits to the fact that it was the hug between them that got her off, so to speak, made her transform. And it's anytime she has that doki doki heart-fastened sensation, that, you know, the beating of her heart that gets really excited, the hornies, whatever you want to call it, you know, that makes her, propels her to transform. It's all revolving around that. So he's like, well, if you feel as though you are unwieldy with this power, let me control it. Let me be the one to utilize it to the fullest extent to help the demons and demonkind, as per his mission statement. And it's just, she's not having that. Don't you get any ideas, man? And then she runs out, and in nothing but the blanket, you know, nothing underneath, she's screaming and running through town, leaving everyone mouth agape. It's just absolutely hilarious. But by the end, man, learning that Jeanne d'Arc is in fact still around, she is incarcerated at the hands of Charios. She's been for however long, nobody knows, but and entirely why, as I speculate, you know, probably to do with the uprising of humanity against the gods in the heavens and the heavenly bodies, if you will, and the fact that she has seemingly a direct tie, being the maternal caregiver and creator of this Mogado, this young child who even the heavens so desperately want back. Along very similar lines to how we found, you know, Nina very much answered to a lot of the speculations going on there. Her father was a dragon and her mother was a human. I don't even want to get into how the reproduction of that situation goes. You know, but like all of the children of her town it's a sort of mixed species affair, and she was having the hardest time transforming from humanoid child to a dragon, and it wasn't until she met her first sort of visual crush that the whole place blows up and all hell breaks loose, because she got turned on, you know. And like, so in a similar fashion, we have these characters who, they have this unprecedented power. Even Azazel answers to Nina's own, describing it as being like a mini Bahamut, which is something I put forth in my speculation in the previous episode discussion video, saying that, you know, that is the rage of Bahamut for the series, most likely. It's her dragon form. And so, I mean, the revelations about these two beings, Nina and the Mogado respectively, are mind-blowing. They're untold powers, and there are people on all sides who are seeking to exploit that for their own design and their own purposes, and you know, it's insane, and I'm loving every drip and minute of it. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this particular episode of Shingeki no Bahamut Virgin Soul. If you've seen it as well, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, if you were surprised to find that Jeanne d'Arc is in fact still around, that she is Mogado's mother, and all the crap going on with that, you know, love it or hate it, anything goes in the comments below. Just love having that conversation. Otherwise, it'll be pretty much it for me on this. If this video finds you well, I'll catch you all later. Peace.